report that is coming from the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa. On to our final story now, the Gambia Red Cross Society, in partnership with the Spanish Red Cross and the European Union, will disburse up to $21 million to the tourism sector's informal associations and individuals. The project will support beneficiaries to restart or diversify their business, while each of the selected 8 associations is to build or renovate their damaged structures that were caused by the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Moses Amend with the details in this report.
The European Union funded cash grant will be implemented by the Gambia Red Cross Society and the Spanish Red Cross. The COVID-19 Livelihood Project will also support and strengthen public health and socio-economic systems to reduce the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic in the Gambia. As part of the project's main goal, the Gambia Red Cross Society will disburse a cash grant amounting to $21 million to 415 individuals and 8 associations in the tourism industry. $37,000 will be given to each individual member, while $510,000 will be provided to each of the 8 associations in the industry. Corrado Pamploni, EU ambassador to the Gambia, said the project was developed in the context of protecting vulnerable groups following the pandemic and to also tackle long-term development issues. He speaks on the essence of the cash assistance program and identified the priority groups.
The cash and voucher assistance program also addresses the most affected small and medium business by providing guidance to adapt career paths to changes in labor and market needs, providing technical assistance for business plans and in-kind support, and lastly, by supporting the community microfinancing system, the saving groups. Due to the vulnerability of the tourism sector in the Gambia to external shocks, the Tourism Association identified the following priority groups: Juice Pressers Association, Fruit Sellers, the Hairdressers Association, Craft Vendors Association, and Federation.
Ambassador Pamploni said a gender lens was applied because women are the hardest hit economically by the COVID-19. Alassane Senghor, Secretary General of the Gambia Red Cross Society, highlighted the strategy of the Red Cross Society in the Livelihood Project.
Red Cross, since the beginning of the COVID, we did have a strategy, and our strategy was twofold. The first was to respond to the health emergency, which is to save lives and also to cut down the transmission. The second part was to look at the medium and the long term. And for the medium term was basically to help families, affected families, and in terms of their livelihood. And we did disburse some funds to families, households, to help them to survive through the COVID. Now, the link to that, and that's why we are here today, is basically to do cash grant, to look at the long-term implication. As you know very well that COVID had a lot of negative effect on the tourism sector.
He said his office has provided training for the beneficiaries and worked with them to develop project proposals that underwent a scrutiny and approval process. Mr. Senghor said the cash will be provided to support the beneficiaries to rebuild and diversify their businesses. Hamad N.K. Bah, Minister of Tourism, described the effort as a milestone in supporting those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
As I said, everybody was a victim and still a victim, but the tourism industry and workers became the most victims. Some of them have lost families. I remember that during the period I used to meet some of them, some of them lost marriages. Some families got broken because it was, and it is still very tough. It's not an easy one. And I believe that this intervention will also help alleviate, not completely, but at least give another breathing space for those who have been severely affected in the industry.
He urged the beneficiaries not to invest the money on wrong purpose, but rather improve and expand their businesses. Minister Bah revealed that the government is working with the World Bank on a project that, if successful, will be the biggest single check the bank ever gave to any ministry in the country since independence, adding that it will be a game changer for the tourism sector. The Livelihood Project will strengthen the health sector by providing personal health and laboratory equipment, as well as protect the most vulnerable communities against the effect of the pandemic by supporting families in access to food and essential needs with monthly distribution of food and cash based on the beneficiary needs. Moses Mendy, Eyeafrica News.